It started with a phone call I almost ignored. A lawyer's voice, a distant relative's name I barely remembered, and news that felt unreal. An inheritance, roughly $500,000, sitting there with my name on it. In a single night, my bank app looked different and my life did too. I told my ex because we still share logistics and a kid's calendar. I expected a polite nod, maybe a quick congrats, then back to normal. Instead, he went red, raised his voice, and called it ours. That moment cracked something I thought was settled. The text that followed came fast. He wanted fairness, a slice for past sacrifices, a plan for what we built. Then his sister joined in and my phone turned into a buzzing hornet's nest. Every ping felt like another demand on money that wasn't theirs. I felt shock first, then a deep, hot anger. This wasn't support, it was pressure. Old fights crawled back, names I hadn't heard in years, and stories rewritten to make me the villain. The money didn't change me, it revealed them. It spread to the family chat within hours. Lines got drawn and people picked sides. Some said I should share to keep the peace. Others told me to lock it down and say nothing. I didn't ask for any of this, but here it was. A windfall that turned into a spotlight, showing every crack in our post-divorce truce. I had to decide fast, protect my kids' schedule, and set rules I could live with here. What I'll share next, straight and simple. Exactly what I said to him, how I set boundaries, and the legal steps I took. The mistakes I nearly made, and the words that finally shut the door on the noise. If you faced a money storm after a breakup, you're not alone. I'll walk through the full story, what I learned, and careful tips to keep your peace when money tests every bond. The day my world changed with the inheritance. The call came during school pickup. A lawyer's voice, careful and calm, asked if I had a minute. I stood by the minivan and held my breath. He said a relative had passed and left me something. The name rang a faint bell. My great-aunt Lydia, the quiet one who sent holiday cards with bird stamps, it felt unreal. Joy rushed in first, then a wave of heat and a sting of tears. My hands shook. I opened my banking app that night and stared at the numbers. $500,000. I whispered thank you into an empty kitchen. This was one of those unexpected inheritance stories you read about and think, that never happens to me. Aunt Lydia never married. She worked at a library, loved quilts, and kept everything tidy. We were not close, but she remembered my messy divorce and the year I juggled 2 jobs. She once pressed $20 into my palm and said, "For the little one's books." That tiny moment now felt huge. After the divorce, money had teeth. Every bill bit. Groceries meant math. Birthdays meant worry. I was a single mom with a tired car and a brave face. This money changed the air in my home. I felt lighter, taller, sure. I made a simple plan that night: pay off every debt, build a 6-month safety fund, fix the car, then save for a reliable one, set aside a college fund for my child, start a down payment fund, and buy a small home. I slept with my phone on the nightstand and a smile I could not hide. Not rich, but safe. Not flashy, but free. For the first time in years, I felt power in my choices. Quiet, steady power. Why this money meant everything to me. It gave me something I had missed since the courthouse: breathing room. No more counting days to payday. No more saying maybe next month to basic needs. I could pick up my kid from school without that low hum of panic in my chest. It also gave my child a softer landing, a real bedroom, a savings account with their name on it, a tutor if they needed help, sports fees paid on time. Healthy food in the fridge, not just what was on sale. I saw a door open that had been nailed shut. Education for me too, maybe a certification that leads to better hours. A home where the walls hold our laughter, not the echoes of old fights. A future I can shape, not just survive. Money does not fix everything, but it buys time, choice, and quiet. It turned a life that felt like a tightrope into a sidewalk I could actually walk. I could be a present mom, not a tired calculator. And in that first bright week, before the noise started, I felt whole. My ex-husband's furious response shocks everyone. I shared the news with my ex during our usual handoff chat about our kids' soccer schedule. I kept it light, just a quick mention of the inheritance to explain why I might adjust some plans. Big mistake. His face twisted right there in the parking lot, and the calm dad vibe vanished. "That's ours," he snapped, eyes narrowing like I'd stolen something from him. The air thickened with his sudden rage, and I knew this would blow up. The accusations that started the fight, the phone call that evening sealed it. He dialed me up, voice already edged with fury. "How dare you act like this is just yours? Aunt Lydia knew us as a couple. She sent cards to our house back then. This inheritance is from our shared life." His words hit like punches, full of entitlement that ignored our divorce papers. He ranted on about how marriage meant forever claims, that his sacrifices during tough years entitled him to half. Classic ex-spouse inheritance claims, twisting our past into a legal grab. It escalated fast. One call turned into a barrage of texts, each more heated. "You think you can erase me? We built that family together." Another. "Fairness means splitting it now, or I'll fight for what's mine." I pictured him packing his living room, phone in a death grip, while his sister texted support. "He's right, don't be selfish." The drama built like a storm, pings lighting up my screen until I muted the thread. I felt violated, gut-punched by this invasion of my fresh start. The money was mine, a gift from a relative who saw my solo struggles, not our old life. His outbursts dragged me back to courtroom battles, stirring anger I thought I'd buried. How could he rewrite history for a payout? It shook me deep, turning joy into a defensive wall. But I wouldn't fold. This feud exposed his true colors, and I braced for the next wave, navigating legal rights after divorce. When my ex-husband started demanding a cut of my inheritance, I dove straight into the world of ex-husband inheritance rights U.S. laws. Panic hit hard at first, but research and a quick lawyer chat turned fear into fire. I learned that in 2025, most states automatically revoke an ex-spouse's rights to inherit from wills, life insurance, or retirement accounts after divorce. No need for me to worry about old promises sticking around. Unless a will specifically names him and says the divorce doesn't change it, he's out. My aunts will left everything to me clear and simple, with no strings to our past marriage. That knowledge locked my boundaries tight. This money is mine, full stop. And no one gets to rewrite that. I called a family law attorney the next day, spilling the whole messy story over coffee. She laid it out plain. Inheritances count as separate property in all states, not shared like marital assets. But in community property states like California or Texas, things get tricky if you mix that money with joint stuff. Deposit it in a shared account or use it for family bills, and it could turn into something divisible. My heart raced thinking how close I came to that trap during our marriage. Good thing I kept everything solo now. The lawyer stressed one big rule: update your estate plans right after divorce. Laws protect you by default, but don't count on autopilot. Act fast to stay safe. Common mistakes that could have cost me. Looking back, I nearly tripped over pitfalls that snag so many after divorce. My ex's bold claims pushed me to spot them quick, and they almost cost me big. One huge error: not changing beneficiaries on accounts or policies. In most states, divorce laws wipe out an ex's name automatically, but not always on everything like IRAs or insurance. If you forget, they could still cash in, even years later. I checked mine that week and found his name lingering on an old life insurance form. Switched it in a flash, heart pounding. Imagine losing part of your windfall to someone who already walked away, another slip, mixing inheritance with marital assets. In community property states, that fresh money starts separate, but blend it with joint funds, and poof, it's fair game in court. I remembered dumping small gifts into our shared savings back then. Lesson learned. Now I keep my inheritance in its own account, untouched by old ties. State rules vary too. Some places like New York revoke wills fully post-divorce, while others need you to file changes. My lawyer warned about assuming it's all handled. Always consult local laws. To protect yourself, follow these steps. Review and update all beneficiaries within weeks of divorce. Store inheritances separately, no joint mixing. Draft a new will or trust to spell out your wishes. Talk to a lawyer yearly, especially after big life shifts. My close call with my ex's demands lit a fire under me. I set those boundaries fierce, and you should too. Your peace and assets deserve that guard. How the family feud tore us apart. My ex's demands didn't stay between us. They spread like wildfire through our shared family ties. His sister fired off texts first, calling me greedy for not splitting the inheritance. Then his parents chimed in, saying I owed them for raising our family. Relatives picked sides fast. Some backed him, whispering about old favors. Others stayed quiet, but the tension hung heavy. Family gatherings turned into minefields. A simple barbecue became a battleground where whispers turned to shouts over potato salad. The holiday dinner that year broke my heart. We sat around the table, lights twinkling on the tree. My ex cornered me in the kitchen, his voice low but sharp. "This family feud over inheritance will ruin everything. Share it or you're cutting us out." His mom nodded from the doorway, eyes cold. The air felt thick with betrayal. People I once called family now saw me as the outsider hoarding cash. Arguments erupted right there, plates clattering as voices rose. I grabbed my coat and left early, chest tight with hurt. That night the feud hit its peak. Texts flew from every corner accusing me of tearing the family apart. The money exposed raw wounds, turning love into resentment. This chaos shook our world. Bonds snapped under the weight of greed and old grudges. I fought a hold onto what mattered most, even as the storm raged. The role kids played in the drama. Our child felt the pull hardest. At 8 years old, they sensed the shift right away. Questions came during bedtime. Why is Daddy mad at you again? Is it because of the money? Their small face crumpled, torn between us. I saw confusion in their eyes, loyalty split like a frayed rope. They loved both parents, but the yelling leaked through phone calls and stiff pickups. I worked hard to shield them. We skipped family events that turned toxic. Instead, I planned quiet outings, just us two, building sandcastles at the park or baking cookies on rainy days. Those moments felt like anchors in the mess. One evening, as we read stories under blankets, they hugged me tight and said, "I just want us happy, Mom." Tears stung my eyes. That hug reminded me why I fought for peace. The feud pulled them into whispers, too. My ex tried explaining his side, painting me as unfair. But I countered with calm talks, stressing love over cash. We focused on routines, soccer games, and school projects. Protecting their world meant setting firm rules. No money talk around them. It hurt to see them caught in the crossfire, but those efforts kept our bond strong. In the end, shielding them brought us closer, a small light amid the family feud over inheritance. Steps I took to protect my inheritance and peace. When the demands hit, I knew I had to act fast. Protecting my inheritance from my ex meant drawing a line in the sand, one that kept my future secure and my heart steady. I turned panic into power by making smart moves right away. These steps not only shielded the money, but also restored my calm in the chaos. Let me break it down, starting with the financial side that made all the difference. Financial safeguards that saved the day. I wasted no time hearing a family law attorney, a sharp woman who cut through the noise with clear advice. She stressed keeping my inheritance in a separate bank account, titled just in my name. No mixing with old joint funds or shared bills. That quick switch stopped any chance of the money blending into something he could claim. I felt a rush of relief as I watched the transfer go through, like locking a door just in time. Next, she guided me to set up a trust for the bulk of it. This simple tool held the funds under strict rules I controlled, ensuring they stayed mine alone. No ex could touch it, no matter the arguments. I also updated my will that week, naming my child and a close friend as beneficiaries. Gone were any old ties that might linger. These moves protected my inheritance from ex-spouse grabs, based on solid U.S. laws that treat gifts like this as separate property. I kept every receipt and statement, building a paper trail that proved the money's path. Avoiding joint ownership on anything new was key. I bought nothing shared with those funds. Quick decisions like these prevented real loss, turning a potential nightmare into a win. You can do this too. Consult a pro in your state, act within days, and own your security. It empowered me to stand tall, and it will for you. In the end, these safeguards bought me peace, letting me focus on my kid and our fresh start. Lessons from the feud and moving on stronger. The family feud over my inheritance tested every limit I had, but it also taught me truths I carry now. I look back and see growth in the scars. Trust your gut when boundaries blur. It saved me from giving in to pressure. Value your independence after divorce because that space lets you build a life on your terms. These lessons helped me overcome family inheritance disputes, turning pain into strength. Let me share what stuck. Trusting my instincts saved my peace. From the first angry text, my instincts screamed to hold firm. I felt the pull to share just to quiet the noise, but deep down, I knew that would invite more demands. In overcoming family inheritance disputes, listen to that inner voice. It guides you away from traps like mixing funds or skipping legal help. I kept my money separate, just as experts advise, and documented every step. That choice blocked claims and restored my calm. Now I trust myself more. No more second-guessing in tough spots, building confidence and new bonds. This mess rebuilt my confidence brick by brick. I stood up to old ties and chose my path, from setting up a trust to updating my will. Those actions proved I could handle chaos alone. Family bonds shifted too. Some faded, but the real ones grew closer. My child and I share laughs over simple days, free from the drama. We formed our own circle, strong and true. Independence shines here, a quiet win that fuels every choice. In the end, I emerged tougher with a heart full of hope. The feud faded, leaving room for joy. Stick around for how I closed this chapter for good. Conclusion. I closed the chapter on that family feud by drawing hard lines and walking away from the toxicity. I cut ties with my ex's demanding relatives, blocking numbers and skipping gatherings that drained my energy. No more tense chats or forced smiles. Instead, I poured the inheritance into real change. I paid off debts that had haunted me for years, stocked a solid emergency fund, and put money toward a cozy home where my child and I could thrive. College savings grew for their future, and I even started night classes to boost my career. That windfall built security, not drama. It proved I could stand alone and strong. U.S. laws back this up every step. Inheritances stay separate property after divorce, safe from ex-spouse claims if you keep them apart from joint stuff. Most states revoke an ex's beneficiary rights automatically once papers are signed. My ex had zero legal ground to stand on, and a quick lawyer chat confirmed it. Don't let anyone bully you into sharing what's yours. Grab that legal help fast, set boundaries firm, and put yourself first. Your peace and your kids' stability depend on it. If this stirs up your own story of money fights post-divorce, drop it in the comments below. Share how you handled the heat or what you learned. Like those raw Reddit threads, your words could spark support for someone else in the mess. You deserve a fresh start full of fire and freedom. Rise above the noise and claim your win.